Hi everybody, welcome into the New Orleans Saints post-game show presented by Mercedes-Benz. I'm Caroline Gonzalez, and in just a minute we will be joined by head coach Sean Payton, and we'll have the live press conferences of Drew Brees and several other Saints players. Your Saints come out on top in overtime. They win against the Chargers 30-27, and to tell the story of tonight's ball game, we bring in our analyst John DeShazier. JD, can you paint the picture of the chaos that happened?
Look, if you're the New Orleans Saints, you should be running out of here with your hands above your head, feeling really, really good, like you stole one, because this was an absolute thievery. I mean, the Saints didn't play well in a lot of phases of this game for a long period of time, and they finally were able to put it together. The Los Angeles Chargers got a lot conservative, I thought, in the second half, and that allowed the Saints to creep back into it. A big throw from Drew Brees, 41-yard touchdown to Jared Cook, and that kind of juiced the team up, and they managed to get it to overtime, and they were able to kick a field goal and get a critical fourth down stop against the Chargers. So a lot of big things happened, but I mean, the Saints did not play well. Now, by no stretch of the imagination will they say they played well. Another 3 touchdowns given up in the red zone, and now opponents are 17 of 20 against the Saints in the red zone. That's 17 touchdowns on 20 possessions in the red zone. And that's just extremely high for any team. And it's tough to win that way, but the Saints were able to pull one out.
Yeah, as excited as we all are for the Saints win, we're going to spend a lot of this show focusing on the things that the Saints needed to improve on. But hey, a win's a win, JD. But let's be honest, I think this Saints team isn't the Saints team that we're used to seeing, that we've grown accustomed to over the last several years. What would you attribute that to, JD?
Well, the efficiency just hadn't been there on offense or defense. On defense, we still see blown coverages. We saw one down the stretch that allowed the Chargers to go up 27-20 on a long touchdown pass because they blew a coverage in the secondary again. And these are issues you would think that the Saints would be finished with by now, but unfortunately, they aren't. So we see that. We see the situational football where the defense plays well enough to get off the field and they commit penalty roughing the kicker. So the defense got to come back on the field, and then they allow a touchdown drive. So the situational football still isn't there. They still aren't defending well in the red zone. They're still committing pass interference penalties, unfortunately, or untimely penalties altogether. And then they had some penalties on special teams as well in this one. So, you know, the Saints ragged around the edges. Now, I say that, and yet the Saints are 3-2, and they're atop the NFC South Division, tied with Tampa Bay and Carolina. And also, if this is going to be Drew Brees' last appearance on Monday Night Football, last scheduled appearance for the Saints on Monday Night Football this season, at least he got a win. So there are the two positives. You know, the biggest thing is, as you mentioned, if there are corrections to be made, the corrections are to be made in victory. You like that a whole lot better than doing it after a loss.
Our very own John DeShazier coming to us from our Entergy Suite inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. We should be hearing from head coach Sean Payton inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome here shortly, but you talked about it, JD. Drew Brees, Monday Night Football, it's magic, it has to be. But how much more chemistry are you seeing from Drew Brees and Emmanuel Sanders, especially in the second half of tonight's ball game?
Well, they've got it going.
Yeah.
We've seen this the last several weeks. Emmanuel Sanders with the Saints high in receptions and receiving yards. I'm not exactly sure how many receptions or receiving yards, but he went over 100 for the first time as a Saint. And that was really his only reliable target for the majority of this game until Jared Cook came up with that big touchdown catch. But other than that, Emmanuel Sanders was really the only guy who was producing. Now, the Saints are having difficulty up front on the offensive line, keeping defenders out. And if you're Drew Brees, you can't hold the ball and go for those chunk plays if you're constantly under pressure. So I understand the frustration from fans. They want to see a more efficient offense, but it's tough to throw the ball if you're constantly under that kind of harassment. So if you're Drew Brees, he's doing the best he can to not turn it over, and he did it that one time tonight, set up a touchdown, but he's doing the best he can to run this offense and not turn it over and be efficient. And that's a difficult thing to do. But he and Emmanuel Sanders seem to have found a good rhythm here.
JD, we have to talk about a name that we haven't really talked a whole lot about. He came out of left field, Marquez Callaway for the Saints, the undrafted rookie out of Tennessee. He certainly made a name for himself with the Saints tonight.
Well, one thing he did was he made sure that Deontay Harris is going to get back pretty quick. I can tell you that because he looked good in the return game. Now, I say that, and I'm joking, of course, because Deontay is an all-pro.
Right.
But look, Marquez Callaway had a nice game in the return game. I thought he was extremely daring, number one. And two, he knows how to find the soft spots and advance the football. A couple of penalties wiped out some good returns from him, but we saw the experience he has as a returner. He had it at Tennessee. We also saw the courage he has as a returner because he brought a couple out of the end zone. He did a really nice job. I mean, he didn't make bad decisions. He didn't fair catch inside the 10 or anything like that. He made really positive strides in that return game. So for the Saints, you know, you've got a good situation because you've got an all-pro in Deontay Harris. And if Deontay Harris, for whatever reason, if he can't play because of injury or if he slumps a bit, you've got Marquez Callaway who can come out and be extremely effective in the return game for you.
Now, JD, we have to talk about the secondary. We talked a little bit about penalties, most of those coming on special teams tonight for the Saints. But, you know, without Janoris Jackrabbit-Jenkins, you had Marshawn Lattimore out there, the starter for the Saints. But where can this secondary improve, especially in that long ball?
Well, their communication is off, and they haven't busted coverages, and you can't have that with this defense. And I'm talking about 5 games into the regular season and all training camp. I don't care if it's, you know, myself and, you know, Brendan Hassett out there. You've got to be able to have your communication down.
Nobody
your
wants
coverage
that.
has got to be better than that. You can't have guys running loose in the secondary that way. That's really somewhat embarrassing. Number one, if you're the Saints, and two, you put yourself in too much jeopardy doing that. I mean, that last touchdown pass, the long one, Patrick Robinson turned that responsibility over, and I think he turned it over to Marcus Williams. You know, you could almost see Patrick Robinson stop running on that because he thought he had deep help and he didn't have it. The communication in there, the execution in there. And if I'm an opponent of the Saints, I'm going to continue to throw it deep until they show me that they can defend those passes. And we've been talking about the same thing now this entire season, and it hadn't gotten any better. So, you know, the Saints will have a bye week. They'll have some extra time to hopefully clean it up. But they can't expect to be very successful if they can't clean it up.
You know what, JD, I'm not going to let you go that easy. I'm a little upset you chose Brendan, our videographer, over me. I've got some length to me. I've got some communication skills. We've got our chemistry.
Yeah, well, Brendan's got some quick twitch, though, and I don't know if you got that.
All right, well, we're waiting for head coach Sean Payton. We're talking to our senior analyst inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in John DeShazier. JD, a guy who's really stepped up for the Saints this year in the absence of Marcus Davenport has been Trey Henderson. He had 1.5 sacks tonight. He's up to 4.5 sacks on the season. How much improvement has he made this year?
Well, Coach Payton talked about it this week. Trey's gained a little weight. He's maintained that weight. He's improved his strength. The 4.5 sacks he has is already tied for his career season high. He had 4.5 in an entire season a couple of years ago. So he is a guy who is relentless in terms of he continues to push forward, and he can be able to be effective because the Saints have such a deep rotation, especially with Marcus Davenport back on the field. Marcus Davenport had some really good rush plays in this game where he collapsed the pocket and got to the quarterback. He didn't come up with a sack, but he applied the pressure. Now you get Trey Henderson in that rotation. You get Cam Jordan on the other side. And I thought the Saints did a really good job of pressuring Justin Herbert. Got him on the ground 3 or 4 times. They gave up the big passes, but I thought they did a fantastic job of just harassing him and pressing him and speeding up his clock. And a couple more times they missed out on sacks because Herbert was probably a little bit more mobile than I thought he was. He certainly was able to get away from pressure a couple of times and make some big-time throws. But the Saints were able to harass him a good bit, and Trey Henderson has really come on this season, showing that if you're going to give him single coverage, he's going to be the guy who can get to the quarterback.
Yeah, we saw our first Sheldon shimmy tonight, and you mentioned Justin Herbert, a little bit more elusive than maybe the Saints were expecting in the pocket, but the rookie quarterback versus the veteran defensive line, how much more growth would you like to see out of this Saints defensive line? Because it really seems right now, JD, that they're hitting their stride, and actually I'm not going to let you answer that. We're going to go inside to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome to Sean Payton.
Sounds good, Coach. Go ahead, everybody.
Could you just talk about the slow start? It seemed like y'all lacked energy a little bit tonight. Am I making a bad assumption there?
Yeah, look, I didn't feel like it was energy. We were awful on third down. We really couldn't get into a rhythm. It's something that we've got to be better at really in all three phases. Overall penalties weren't too bad, but in the kicking game we had 3 of them that were critical. I'm proud of how we fought back in the second half, played better football, not exclusively, but at times made enough plays to win the game.
John, what was your opinion of Justin? What would you think of Justin Herbert, especially there in the fourth quarter? It seems like he made some pretty big throws.
Yeah, listen, he's a good young talent. You could see. You don't feel like you're playing against a young player. He's someone that gets the ball out of his hands. I think he's got a promising future, and he's impressive to watch.
Sean, how large did you feel like that roughing the punter penalty loomed just the remainder of the game, kind of chasing points?
Say that again?
How large did you feel like the roughing the punter penalty loomed for you guys just chasing points throughout the game?
Well, look, any of those, that's a possession penalty, and yet, we'll take a peek at it on film, but there's always that tough decision, I think, as you rush the punter for the official to make a call, roughing or running into, but all of them were significant, and fortunately we overcame them.
Sean, what was your initial impressions on Emmanuel Sanders' game tonight?
How did I feel like he played?
Yeah. How do you assess his performance?
Yeah, I thought he played well. We started getting the ball in his hands a little bit later into the half and then the second half, but I thought he played well. I thought a few of our, Callaway played well, playing a lot of snaps tonight, and probably didn't get Traquan as many touches as we would have liked, but overall, we found enough offense in the second half, really in the fourth quarter to get the win.
Sean, we talked about the value of overcoming adversity last week. Did this game have the same effect, or this was a little more frustrating than some of the problems carried over this week?
No, look, every week, you look at it. It was a win. There are a number of things that we've got to clean up, and we'll get back to work here next week. We'll be in tomorrow. We'll be in the next day. We'll be able to address some of the things that we feel like we haven't done well, and get ready then to start playing after the bye.
Sean, was there an adjustment in the second half, or was it just more of an execution thing for you guys?
Well, look, they did a good job of giving us a few different looks on early downs. We got a little bit more pressure from their defense, and I think, we made a few plays down the field. The third down throw to Cooks was a huge play. I don't know what the distance was. I know it was 3rd and long. It was a great find by Drew. Defensively, we got the stops there, especially on the 4th down play there at the end. And I thought we hit their quarterback enough. He's pretty athletic. He got out of the pocket a few times and made some plays. A lot of different elements to the game, but it was good to get the win.
Sean, Will.
Go ahead.
Oh, Sean, will Michael Thomas' suspension just be one game, and how would you characterize that?
Yeah, I'll keep you posted. That's something we'll discuss, and we'll let you know at the time when the time is right.
Sean, how much did his absence alter the way you?
I want to talk about the players that played tonight.
Hastings' versatility, does it make that touchdown possible?
It was a good play. It's kind of a run-pass option. They covered it fairly well, and yet when they do that, there's the numbers then, you have that one extra player relative to, the quarterback that can carry it. That was a good way to finish that drive.
Sean, did you go next down the sideline on that last drive, next to the last drive?
Pardon?
What did you see on that reception by Alvin Kamara on that next to the last drive of regulation?
It's a pretty big play. It's kind of a little choice route pump. It was a good play over his head. He kind of hit the target a little bit on the defender. The kick return in overtime was a big play. It brought us out across the 30 and gave us a little momentum. Last question.
Coverage questions. Is that just guys having their eyes in the wrong places? Is that something you guys can fix there?
The one was a big play that we got to clean up, and it's, kind of a post spear. We got to get on top of one, and it's something we'll be able to clean up, and it's something that we have to. Like I said, there are a few things offensively and defensively that have, I don't want to say plagued us, but we haven't been as good at in the first quarter pole of the season. We've got to improve on those areas. One last question.
Sean, when you're coming deadline session going into a bye week, is it ever harder as a coach to impress upon to the players the things that need to be cleaned up? I mean, can a win mask some of the problems that you see in film?
No, we try not to let it either way, a win or a loss. I mean, the film is important for us to make the corrections and teach from, and that's really the essence of what we do in the beginning of the week is making the corrections. We talk about that race to improve and to get better. We're in that race. All right. Thank you.
Ready, Jared?
All right, we have Jared Cook with us. If you guys have questions, please put them in the chat and we'll get started.
Fire away.
All right, Jared, first question from Amy Just.
What did you see on that crazy touchdown, whenever that was? The one you had 30-plus yards.
Yeah, it was kind of, the underneath coverage was kind of running with me.
You're muted, Jared.
She said I'm muted, fam. Oh, there it go, right there. Sorry about that.
All good. I can hear you now.
The underneath coverage was kind of running with me, but the safety was tilted to us, to the three receiver side, and then the backside corner was just kind of sloughing and lagging off. So my job is just kind of to get over to that other side of the field and open it up for whoever's running the seam behind me. And I just kind of got over top of him, and I think Drew got a little flushed in the pocket and rolled out to his left, and he was able to hit me in stride. It was a beautiful throw right over the top of the backside corner, and before the safety got there.
Next question's from Underhill.
Jared, was there something you guys did as an adjustment? It seems like after that interception, things kind of really started opening up and rolling for you guys a little bit more on offense.
We just tried to continue to push the tempo, man. Didn't change too much. It's just making sure we stay in it and don't let them take us out of it.
Next question's from Luke Johnson.
Jared, when you're going through a game, that touchdown was your first target. What do you have to do to just stay focused and make sure you're not drifting away when the ball's not coming your way?
Man, I just try to have fun. You don't get a lot of opportunities like this, so I just try to enjoy myself and just do what I can and listen to the music, sing along to the songs, and encourage the defense and encourage my team, man, to stay in it.
You sing along to any particular songs?
All of them. Every single one.
Next one's from Catherine Terrell.
Hey, Jared, when you got hurt, did you think at the time you were going to be able to come back this quickly? And are you playing through a lot of pain right now?
When you get hurt, you always think about, how fast you can come back. And it's like one of those things that you kind of take for granted sometimes, right? So you try to get back out there as fast as you can. It still bothers me a little bit, but you know, I'm not really worried about it too much. I just like to go out there, play, have fun, and, you know, get the fans what they need. It would have been nice to do this in front of our fans tonight, and hopefully we can do that in a couple of weeks when it's a little bit more of a packed crowd in the house.
Last one's from Andrew Dope.
Hey, Jared, there were several times throughout this game where it looked like Emmanuel Sanders was just kind of like vocally after catches, like just trying to create energy for the offense. So how much do you feel like you guys feed off of that and have to do that with no fans in the stands continually?
Man, I think it's huge. For me personally, I think it gives me momentum, because if I see another one of my teammates eating and they getting hyped, getting hyped after a catch, it made me want to go out there and eat too. It made me want to get my groove on just like they are. So for E. Sanders to be able to out there and just continue to look to the sideline, keep hyping us up, and he was getting on their nerves too. So I think it's huge for us, and I think that continues to build momentum for us offensively.
We're all set. Thank you, Jared.
All right.
All right, we have Alvin Kamara here. First question's from Luke Johnson.
Elvin, just curious what you saw on for him, how big was that?
Yeah, I mean, we worked it all week, and Taysom obviously is a heck of a runner. You know, it was a pass play, but I don't know if he heard me, but before the play, I'm like, don't be scared to run it. I think he was motioning somebody or saying something to somebody else, but I did my little fake, and I looked back and I saw he was running, and I was like, touchdown, I already knew it. So, you know, I mean, like I said, he's a heck of a runner, heck of a player. I mean, that was big for us.
Next question's from Jeff Duncan.
Alvin, can you tell us about the big pass reception you made there late in the game down the sideline, and where does that catch rank among your best catches you've made?
Man, I mean, Drew put it in he gave me the best chance to be able to catch the ball. And, you know, I just tried to focus on it, tried to get it. I knew it was kind of like a crunch time play. And, you know, I just tried to keep focus on the ball, try to lay hands. And, you know, I came up with it, thankfully. But, I mean, that was a big catch.
Next one's from Nick Underhill.
Was there an adjustment after that interception from Drew? I guess was kind of seemed like the turning point where you guys started to execute a little bit better. Was there anything different you did, or was it just kind of locking in and doing the things you needed to do?
I mean, just lock in. I mean, we couldn't really get into too much of a rhythm throughout the game, you know. So it was one of those games where we just had to battle the whole time and just fight and claw and scratch. You know, that's one of them times where, you know, Who That Nation, that's when we need our fans in that stadium. I mean, that's huge. But the fans that we did have, they did their part. You know, we just need some more. But, you know, we just got to we fought, and we just got a grimy win. We had to do that.
Next one's from Luke Johnson.
Yeah, Alvin, you'll need to start faster. I know it's hard to answer that right after the game, but it seems like you know, building out from a 14-point deficit or whatever is not ideal.
Oh, that's not hard to answer. We definitely got to start faster. We gotta get our offense and what we want to do. We gotta get going faster. Get in a rhythm faster. You know, just be efficient. You know, within what we want to, within the plays we want to call. So that's on all of us. We all got to get better. That's on me. That's on Drew. I mean, everybody. We just gotta execute. We gotta get going faster.
Next one's from Amy Just. With Deontay Marquez Callaway with kick return, punt return, and he was used more on offense. How would you assess his play today?
Man, that's my Vol brother. Me and Quez went to Tennessee together, so I mean I know he got it in him. You know, I just talk to him and just tell him, you know, make a play, just go do something. So you know, his name was called and he did what he had to do. It's next man up. You know, he's playing well. He's getting comfortable more and more as the games go on, and you know, I'm happy to see it because you know I went to college with him, so it's fun to see that.
Next one's from Rod Walker.
Hey, Alvin, we watched your some of your off-season workouts and your balancing and own things and catching stuff. Do those kind of workouts help you with make those plays like the one you made on the sideline?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I can think of 3 drills that my trainer Sharif made me do in the off season that, is that ball right there. You know what I'm saying? So as much as I was tired of seeing Sharif and doing all these drills and stuff like that as the off season dwindled down, it's like that's what we do it for, So definitely that's like I said, that's what we do it for.
Last question is from Nick Underhill.
You mentioned clawing and scratching and kind of that feeling in every game or in this game. If you felt that a lot more this season, do you feel like you guys have kind of hit your stride, or do you feel like that there's still things that you got to figure out coming out of this bye?
It's definitely things we still got to figure out. It's hard to win in this league. Every week is a challenge. There's no game we're going into like, oh yeah, this is an easy win. We go into a game like we trying to get the desired outcome, which is a win, but we know we got to come with our A game every game. So some games are faster starts than others. Some games we getting what we want more than other games, but it is what it is. It's a different flavor to every game, and tonight was just it was a dirty game. So we just had to, like I said, claw and scratch and come out on top.
We're all set. Thank you, Alvin.
Yep.
What an athlete!
Yep. DeMario coming up now, folks. We can fire away in the chat.
All right, DeMario Davis here. First question is going to be from Luke Johnson.
Tomorrow, I just wonder what your initial observations were about Justin Herbert. It seems like he had a pretty good game for a rookie out here.
Yeah. He's playing really good for a rookie. We saw it on tape. Understanding that he's a rookie, he's in the NFL. And so when you have an opponent out there, you got to be ready for him. For a rookie, it's a lot of things that you understand that they're going to be one-dimensional in. But he definitely doesn't play like a rookie. Plays with a lot of confidence, and he put his team in a lot of good situations. He took advantage of a lot of situations and made plays when they needed to him. We knew it was going to be a challenge, and they made it tough on us.
Next one's from Michael Caldwell.
Hey, Mario, that fourth down stop, what did you see, and were you at all concerned that your momentum would carry him into a first down?
No. You don't think about that much. We knew it was going to be a situation where the ball was going to be out quick. We were in a cover zero, so you want to get pressure on the quarterback. I understood he had been throwing quick passes all night, and it had been limited us to be able to get sacked. So I knew it would be a pressure, but it wasn't going to be a sack. And so my man blocked me. I wanted to drop low hole and take away any kind of passing lane. Marshawn made a tremendous play, and I saw his body was in position to get the stop, but I wasn't sure if he was going to get the first down regardless, and so I was going for a punch out on the ball, and it was good, and we realized they were short, so play was made.
Next question is from Andrew Dill.
Hey, DeMario, a couple guys have kind of mentioned this is one of those where you grind out a win and then you just kind of get happy that you're in the bye week and you can fix things then. I guess just what's the one thing that you were focused on wanting to fix when you get to the bye week defensively?
You always want to be improving. That's the thing. One thing I'm happy about, this team, this defense, those are some things that we can fix, is we're opportunistic. When an opportunity presents itself, we're making them. And we're going to have to be able to make those plays no matter what kind of situation we are in the game. This team jumped out early on us, and we were able to rally back as a team. And anytime you're able to do that, you're facing adversity, you're going to be in good shape. It's a marathon, and so it's all about who can make the best pit stops, I guess, during the week. And change the tires, rotate, fix the tweaks in the engine. And, we got a top-notch coaching staff. They're going to find the areas that we need to correct, put them in front of us, and they're going to challenge us to make sure that we're doing it and playing at a high level week in, week out. That's why we've been successful in the past, and I think that's why we'll continue to be successful.
Next question is from Luke Johnson.
Hey, DeMario, what was the feeling in your gut when Badgley was lining up for that game-winning field goal late at the end of the game? And then what can you say about Will Lutz? He seems like he's pretty automatic out there.
In that situation, you just hoping that if they miss, if they miss, we got a chance. And in a game, you're just trying to find a way to win. So when he lines up the kick, you're like, okay, if he misses, we got a chance. Will has been phenomenal. As long as I've been here, he's been phenomenal. And so it's definitely special when you got good players on your team like that.
We're all set. Thank you, Demario.
Thank you, guys. You guys be blessed. Have a good one.
So let's do that here.
What up, guys?
All right, guys. Emmanuel Sanders, great questions in the chat, please. First question is from Jeff Duncan.
Emmanuel, we could see you after making some of those catches tonight, trying to get maybe the sideline juiced up or showing some energy. Was it difficult tonight because of the lack of no crowd here to get into this game?
I love playing football, and I just hope, when I'm out there on the field that people can see that, But yeah, obviously my job is to bring energy. Every time I make a catch and we're moving the ball, obviously it puts pressure on the defense. And, this game is about momentum. It sways left and right. And so, I'm always trying to shift that momentum to our side and get guys going and get guys understand that we can win this game and we don't have to make it close. And so, that's what I'm about. But at the same time, sometimes I'll be losing my mind out there a little bit because I love to play the game, and I'd be excited to make plays because I work so hard during the week, and it feels good when the hard work pays off.
Next question is from Amy Just. Speaking of momentum, when Taysom came in and ran it in, that was apparently a pass play. What did you see there, and how big was that for him and all y'all?
And it was big for the team. When I saw him run in, I was excited, trust me. At the end of the day, it's all about winning games, and so Taysom brings a different element for us, right? He can run the ball, he can pass the ball, and defensive coordinators got a scheme for him. And so, to see him, get his first, I think that's his first touchdown of the year. It's amazing, and hopefully we can build off that.
Next question is from Luke Johnston.
Yeah, two-parter for me, Emmanuel. First of all, what was your immediate reaction when that field goal doinked off the upright?
Oh man, I was obviously happy, but but I knew that it was time to go. It was go time, and I was hoping we can win the coin toss because I just knew that we were going to go down and get some kind of points, and so we were able to do that, and we were able to win a game and going into the bye week with a dub. You can't beat that. So I'm gonna be feeling good during the bye week. My dog.
All right.
I see you.
And you said when you came here, a number of times you wanted to be in a pass-happy offense.
Yep.
Is today exactly what you were talking about?
That's exactly what I was talking about. I think that's the most catches I ever had in the game. So that feels good. It's something to build off of, and we got the win in it. So that's all that matters.
Next question is from Nick Underhill.
Yeah, it seemed like you really dominated during that second half. I think maybe 100 yards or close to it. What opened up for you coming out of halftime?
I think Sean, he just wanted to target me and get the ball in my hands, and it felt good. That's everything you want as a receiver, right? That's why I came here, for Sean Payton to look at me, and I know the play call is for me and me and Drew working in sync. And so it happened tonight, and it's something to build off of. And what's even better is that, we got arguably the best receiver, in the world, coming off from his performance of last year, coming back to us. So for me and him to work together and try to take this offense to an even better level, I just feel like the sky's the limit.
Last question from Andrew Doak.
Emmanuel, I'm just curious then, you kind of mentioned Sean Payton. At halftime, did he not like the first half that he called at all, or did he feel like he needed to switch things up at all?
Sean is Sean. He honestly believes in 4 quarters of football. And so he came in and he just said, let's go and win. Let's come back, and that's what we were able to do. And he believed in it and stuck with his plan, and everything started to open up in the 3rd and 4th quarter for him.
We're all set. Thanks, Emmanuel.
All right, thank you.
Ooh, I'm tired.
Hey, everybody. We're going to have Cam here. We can go ahead and put questions in the chat. Appreciate it, bud.
Somebody got to catch a trip. You know what I'm talking about? You got my number? Nah.
Or you said it's a.
Oh, IG. Here.
999.
Call you right now. I'm gonna send that to you. You know what I'm talking about? Did we get a confirmation on?
Hey, Cam,
Was it?
what did you think of
Was it
Justin
Herbert
Herbert today?
No, was it
Looked like
Herbert?
he was,
His name is
Are
Herbert.
you trying to say something?
Huh? No. It's Herbert. It was confirmed Herbert. Okay. I'm sorry. Continue.
Go on mute.
Oh, we're on mute.
Cam's going to begin with an opening remark.
Yeah, I was just looking. Was there confirmation? Is it Herbert or Hebert? I've sort of made everybody who's not from New Orleans mad with that Hebert or Herbert situation. Was there confirmation?
It's Herbert.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah. All right. Sorry.
Okay, so now that you know his name, what did you think of his game?
He's a baller. Young kid out there taking a lot of hits today. I think our D-line, our front seven got after him pretty well. He made a lot of great plays down the stretch, and that's something that he may be a force to be reckoned with for the years to come. He's showing us some huge potential.
Next question's from Andrew Doak.
Cam, I'm guessing it feels good to solve some of the defensive problems with a win, but do you know what you feel like has led to some of the coverage lapses in the back end?
That's something we got to break down the film and get right soon, especially when it comes down to trying to be a stout defense. That's something we can't give up, and we're going to rally back, and especially when you got guys like
best defensive end in the league and best dressed D lineman for sure.
The drip is
make sure he on Monday's best. They did Sunday's best already, so he by himself. Monday's best for sure.
Look, you know what I'm saying? I say Mayor Cantrell, watch out, because he gonna be a mayor soon. He looking real regal. I'm just saying he come in 3-piece ready at all times. Demario Davis probably first team All Pro. Demario Davis probably gonna be. Is there something better than first team All Pro? He probably gonna be that.
Next one's from Rod Walker.
Hey Cam, you've seen Alvin make a lot of spectacular plays. What do you think about that catch he made on the left half?
Over the top, man. That's a grown man play. We know he's a special player and he makes special plays. Those are one of them. I mean, it's like when you got to beat a double team to get a sack. I know it's like that feeling. When you go snatch one over the top and in the crucial down and make a big play for your team. That's huge.
Next one's from Amy Just.
Another big day for Trey Henderson today. How important was he on the other side?
Man, if I'm taking doubles, he's getting his singles. He finally got a little bit of chip life. He came over to the sides like they chipped me. Welcome to this life. They're starting to respect you. That being said, we got to win our singles. We got to be able to create this uncomfortableness for quarterbacks. Game in, game out, and I think he's growing at a rapid pace. I've been singing praises for the last 4 years. You guys are finally starting to see what I've been talking about.
Next one's from Nick Underhill.
Just following up on that, it seemed like the four-man rush was really effective today. Was there anything different about the way you guys were attacking, where you let them maybe come back and go a little more than other weeks, or was it just everybody winning their matchup?
It wasn't a chip every play, right? It wasn't a nudge every play, huh? They decided to leave their man on the island for a second. It's crazy what happens when you catch those one-on-ones. You got to win your one-on-ones. That's all it comes down to.
Next one's from Luke Johnson.
Hey, and how nice was it having Marcus back out there for the first time today?
Absolutely. As he's getting back involved, you see, he's getting back to the field of game, and we're going to be playing. It's going to be even more exciting once we get the fans back in. When them fans come in, and it's me, Marcus, and Trey rolling through. Sheldon Rankins, we talk about Malcolm and everybody on our D-line that has a plan, just being even more amped up with our fans coming back eventually, right? One of these games, sometime soon. Then it's going to be even more of an avalanche. But that's what we got to do. We got to create uncomfortable pockets for the quarterbacks.
We're all set. Appreciate it, Cam.
Yeah.
We'll have Drew Brees in just a moment, folks, maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
The bye week to get your blue bucket hat and your Nike pullover, and then next week post-game show I expect you to be dressed like Cam Jordan.
Now forget Cam. I'm going with Alvin Kamara because Alvin Kamara is the new wordsmith for me. When a guy describes a win as grimy, I couldn't think of a better description than what he put out right there, because it was that kind of game where it was just a muddy, dirty, figure out a way to slog through it kind of game. And I thought Alvin put the best label on it that you can have. And Cam kind of looked like Cam DMC or Run DMC or somebody's DMC out there in that outfit. But nobody can do it like him. When you play that way, you can wear those kinds of clothes.
JD, Emmanuel Sanders pointed out something that kind of caught me off guard. 12 catches tonight were a career high tonight for 122 yards. Career high for Emmanuel Sanders. That connection between him and Brees is surely coming.
Well, he looked like the only guy who was able to get open for a while there. I mean, and truly you could see the confidence that Drew has in him. Those are the kinds of plays that you'll see Drew Brees get with Michael Thomas, who was suspended for this game. But you'll see that kind of thing between him and Michael Thomas when he develops that kind of chemistry and that kind of confidence, where he knows where you're going to be and he knows you're capable of producing. And I think he's found that with Emmanuel Sanders, which will be valuable going through the rest of this season.
You're seeing the podium now inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome as we wait for quarterback Drew Brees, hopefully soon, but we'll get you over to that as soon as he comes to the podium. JD, we also heard from Demario Davis, came up with a big 4th down stop in overtime, him and Marshawn Lattimore. How consistent has Demario been for this Saints defense time and time again?
Well, we know last year he was an All-Pro. The year before that, he should have been an All-Pro. He's been that kind of player for the Saints. He's been arguably the best free agent pickup for this team outside of Drew Brees. It's hard to name another one who had the kind of impact that Demario Davis has had, and you see it in games like this. He's one of those guys where I think Coach Sean Payton always says when Demario Davis hits a guy, the guy doesn't fall forward. The guy doesn't get the leaky yardage, and that was one of those plays where you don't let that guy get the leaky yardage. You don't let him fall forward, and he doesn't get the first down, and the game's over, and the Saints are able to win it.
As much as we want to highlight all of the great things that happened tonight for the New Orleans Saints as you're watching them on the screen right now, we also have to talk about some things that the Saints need to correct, and namely the offensive rhythm, JD, for the Saints just wasn't what we've come to know, as we were talking about earlier. How do they get that back on track?
Well, the easiest way is to play better up front. They didn't run the ball very well for the majority of this game, and certainly I know they will say that they had some lacking in pass protection. Drew Brees was under pressure a lot in this game, and they were able to clean it up in some plays. And the plays when they were able to keep him clean and give him the good line of sight, you saw good results. But they've got to be a little bit more consistent in that. We saw Teron Armstead, left tackle, get beat. We saw Ryan Ramczyk, right tackle, get beat. We saw Andrews Pete, left guard, commit a penalty. We saw Cesar Ruiz have to come in for an injured Nick Easton, who left the game with a concussion. So they've got to get the cohesiveness going. They've got to be better up front. It all begins there offensively. I don't care who you have at quarterback, who you have at running back, receiver. It really doesn't matter a whole lot if you can't get the proper protection and you can't get the best blocking up front. It all begins there. And the line will tell you that themselves. They will put a lot of it on their shoulders because they know they have to be better.
And what about those timely penalties on Saints special teams? 3 calls against J.T. Gray that really hurt the Saints, especially when they're trying to put a point of emphasis on those penalties.
Yeah, it was one of those games where the special teams, I thought, won the season opening game against Tampa Bay with some big plays. And this was one of those, if the Saints don't win this game, the special teams, has a big hand in them not winning this game. They certainly had a big hand in it being as close as it was. You mentioned the JT Grave penalties. One of them declined because Dwayne Washington committed the penalty of roughing the kicker. And those were big, big plays, especially the Dwayne Washington roughing penalty, because the defense had done the job to get off the field and force a punt. That's a change of possession that you heard Coach Payton say. And all of a sudden, the defense has got to go back on the field and try to defend again instead of having the offense have the football. And so those are huge. I mean, it's bad enough when you're committing penalties on offense and defense. Then when you get 3 on special teams, it makes it, I won't say impossible to win, obviously, because the Saints were able to win this game. But man, the degree of difficulty jumps when you make those kinds of penalties.
If you're just joining us, you're watching the New Orleans Saints post-game show presented by Mercedes-Benz. There we go. We're waiting on quarterback Drew Brees to arrive at the podium live inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. For now, JD and I are discussing the Saints' overtime win over the Los Angeles Chargers, 30-27. And JD, we heard a little bit from Sean Payton earlier. How much does this adversity that the Saints have gone through the first 5 games of the season build them for the second half of the season?
Well, I kind of alluded to it earlier. I think the Saints ought to, be doing backflips in the bye week. They have not played well in these 5 games. They played well in one chunk against Detroit, I thought, where they were clean on offense and defense. But overall, they have not played well in these first 5 games, and yet they've been able to win 3 of them. So they have to be really pleased about that, because they have to figure if we can clean up the areas that need to be cleaned up that are glaring, they should be a much more successful team, make life easier on themselves. So they should feel really good. Yeah, you can't be happy with the way you played, but you've got to be happy with the result. As badly as they played in this game, they were able to win this game. As uneven as they played in the first 5, they've won 3 of them. They're in first place in the division. You can't go, the easiest path to the playoffs is to win your division. They are on track to win it for the 4th consecutive time. And so those things look really good on your resume when you hadn't played as well as you'd like. So you hope that over this break period, you get that opportunity to just figure things out, because at some point you saw in the Detroit game where everything clicked offensively and everything clicked defensively for 5 possessions on offense and for 4 possessions on defense. If you can get that kind of consistency, and it's not going to last the whole game, it's hard to be clean and perfect an entire game, but you can have better stretches and more consistency than the Saints have had. They've got to eliminate those big plays defensively. You're 3rd and 9, you got to get off the field. Those are the things that are really detrimental to you winning games, and they've been able to overcome that and be 3-2. So they've got to be really, really happy going into the bye week at 3-2.
I think we got a bit of a head fake from our Saints PR staff, but we'll get you to Drew Brees, who I believe might be coming up to the podium here soon. I'm not really sure. But until then, JD, up next for the Saints after this bye week, they'll have the Carolina Panthers, and then they'll take on the Chicago Bears on the road.
Yeah, 2 tough games, because one thing you know about Carolina is Teddy Bridgewater is the quarterback, and Teddy Bridgewater doesn't really give games away.
Yep.
You've got to beat his team. We saw that last year with the Saints when he went 5-0. He won't throw the game away.
JD, I'm going to interrupt you because we're actually going to go now to quarterback Drew Brees.
Drew touched on to Jared Cook. I think it's his first time he threw for a remote game. What does that say about him? Just staying focused in, locked in, and being ready when the moment was called.
Yeah, absolutely. It just kind of played out that way. He was part of the progression quite a few times, but just wasn't able to get a ball prior to that. And listen, big moment in the game. Obviously needed. That touchdown ended up tying the game, and brought us back from 17 points down to tie it up. And obviously we felt like we were going to go win the game at that point. But 3rd and 15 or 16, I think, too. And they played somewhat of an unorthodox coverage, and he's really kind of on a clear-out route, but just kind of had my eyes on him in my periphery, and felt like they were flat-footed and he could get by him, and it was great for him to get by him and get that big play.
Next question is from Jeff Duncan.
Hey, Drew, this is only the 2nd win of your career in a game you all were trailing by 17 points. The other one was against the Dolphins in 2009. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, but 2011 49ers playoffs, should have won that one. We were down 17, came back. Playoff game against Minnesota, down 17. The Minneapolis Miracle, should have won that one. So I know there's this exact number of 17, but I'm sure if we clumped in like the 13s, 14s, 15s, you know, there'd be quite a bit more. But no, I mean, listen. Bottom line is we were not playing Saints football in the first half. You know, we missed a lot of opportunities. You know, we were bad on third and short situations that would have sustained drives. You know, we made some mistakes in the kicking game that, you know, prolonged drives for them, and just, you know, obviously had a turnover that gave them 7 points. So, you know, at the end of the day, we're down 20-3, and we'd made a bunch of mistakes, you know, a bunch of self-inflicted wounds. And I think second half came out and, man, really dialed in. Execution, you know, both in the passing game and the run game. Defense came up with some big stops, and obviously we just scratched and clawed our way back.
Next question's from Nick Hamilton.
Hey, Drew. With this potentially being the last time that you may play your former team, how does it feel for you to go undefeated against that team?
Listen, man, I got, you know, great memories from my Charger days. You know, 2001 to 2005. Had some pretty amazing teammates and coaches, and obviously that fan base. It's a shame they're not in San Diego anymore. I'll say that one more time. But nah, it's you know, obviously all those games have been significant. You know, 08, 12, 16, and then 2020. Have really had some great games against them. In fact, I think every single one of them has come down to, you know, the final drive in the game. So that's significant.
Next question's from Mike Triplett.
Hey, Drew, after coming back from 14-0 last week and 20-3 this week, I suppose you could go glass half full or glass half empty. What is your take on this team as you head into the bye at 3-2? Is this an underachieving team, or do you feel good about where you guys are after those 2 wins?
No, I would say there's always room for improvement. We obviously want to start faster. We definitely want to start faster, and understand again what wins and loses football games. And I'd say the first half, there were too many mistakes that get you beat. Too many mistakes to get you beat. You know, we shouldn't have had to mount the comeback we had to mount in order to win this game. But at the end of the day, these are growing experiences. These are learning experiences. We do have some guys that are continuing to grow and develop, you know, into certain roles. I'm really encouraged by the way that Callaway played tonight, you know, special teams and on offense. He did a phenomenal job. I know there's some guys on defense and special teams doing the same thing as well. So, you know, at the end of the day, man, we're still growing. And to have wins like this, you know, where you really have to fight to win, you know, just like we did last week to overcome that 14-point deficit, tonight to overcome the 17-point deficit. You know, this is how you grow as a team. This is how you know, become battle tested, and I think it pays dividends as you move along here.
Next one's from Amy Just.
Yeah, that Taysom touchdown to tie it up even later, like 50 seconds or something left in regulation. How big was that for him, especially since the game didn't necessarily start the best for him personally?
No, he had a great game all the way around. That was a big play. Obviously, it shows the confidence that we have in him, that Sean has in him. Put him in a critical third down, and you know, he kind of had a run pass option, and you know, made a great decision, got in the end zone, and tied the game.
Next one's from Luke Johnson.
Drew, we've been talking for I feel like the whole season about Emmanuel Sanders and how he's going to fit in this offense and everything. Where's y'all's connection right now? It seems like he's kind of been your go-to guy lately.
Yeah, listen, he's a weapon. He can do a lot of things. He's a savvy football player. You know, he's played a lot of football. He understands the game. You know, he understands so many things about, you know, how to run certain routes. You know, how to get separation when the ball's coming. Obviously, we've been able to spend a lot of time together. You know, I think, listen, you know, we didn't really get an off season together. We didn't get, you know, preseason games. So, you know, you get into the season, and obviously Mike goes down, and then it's, you know, you're just kind of trying to find your rhythm and your timing with not just him, but with everybody, you know, and I think
obviously here we are week 5, but I think you've seen over the last 2 weeks, just how that's progressed and what a huge part of this offense he can be.
Next one's from Jeff Duncan.
Hey, Drew, how disappointing was the situation with Mike Thomas? And as a leader of the team, do you feel a need to maybe address it with him one-on-one?
I've spoken with Mike. Mike and I talk a lot, both in person in the locker room, through text message. We're always communicating. And so at the end of the day, man, Mike is a big part of this team, and he's going to be a big part of this team, moving forward. There was, we had an incident, and Sean addressed it, and many of the leaders have spoken with Mike as well, and we're going to be all good.
Thank you.
Next one's from Andrew Doak.
Drew, what do you think was the toughest thing to be able to find rhythm early on in the game? It seemed like before that 2-minute drive before the half, it seemed like things were just kind of sputtering. And off of that, do you kind of relish winning in that type of way, just personally having to grind it out?
Yeah. Listen, these are growth experiences. I mean, it's certainly nice if you could just go out and score a bunch of points in the first half and then just cruise to victory. But as we know in this league, man, you gotta fight it out to the very end. I mean, this is the way most games finish. With the final possession. Now, most games you don't get in a 20-3 hole. Based on just mistakes and not playing really great football in all 3 phases for the first half of the game. But again, these are the tests though that I do feel like, man, really bring a team together and give you confidence and give you momentum and really kind of shape you and certainly give you confidence moving forward in the future. Because we're gonna have plenty of games that are coming down to the end, and we know if we can put ourselves in a position to win, man, we know how to do that.
Next one's from Rod Walker.
Hey, Drew, it seems like we ask you about Alvin every week, but what did you kind of see on that catch he made on the sideline?
Man, it was a great catch. It was a great catch. And just felt one-on-one and put it up and give him an opportunity. And obviously he jumped up and made a great play.
We're all set. Thank you, Drew.
I guess.
All right, you've heard from the players, you've heard from us. JD, any last words before we let you go?
No, this is just a good way to go into a bye week. Anytime you can get the W, that's what you want.
A W is a W. All right, the Saints will go on their bye week. They will be back here at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome on October 25th to take on the Carolina Panthers at noon. Once again, your Saints defeat the Los Angeles Chargers 30-27 in overtime. For John DeShazier, Caroline Gonzalez, thanks to all of you for joining us on the New Orleans Saints postgame show presented by Mercedes-Benz.